even though you had the bulletin, you didn't really know what I was going to talk about totally.
Nope.
Because I am talking about in order to let go, you have to let go, and what we need to let go of is fear. So, as usual, you did your Vulcan mind meld with me. See, this is how we know we're all meant to be together. Is we begin to catch each other's thoughts in the etheric. And we begin to understand one another in a deeper way. And remember that in order to grow, you have to let go of your own perceptions sometime of what is real and what is not real. Because in the end, what is it all but an illusion of our separation? And so things happen along the way, and we sometimes feel like, why is this happening to me? Guess what? I bet you can find a million other people that the same thing's happening to. So it's not just happening to you, it's happening to many. Why is it happening to many? Because many are on the road of transformation, are on the path towards enlightenment. And you cannot see through illusion until you shatter it apart. And so as we talk about the idea of we're here in order to grow, I want you to take your right hand and pat yourself on the back. Good job! Because you are growing. And if you're not having a challenge right now, then come to me, I'll give you one. We have this amazing opportunity right now to shift into a new season. What is this beginning of? This season in November, we call it the season of gratitude, right? And those of us in the New Thought movement and the wisdom teachings understand that Scorpio is the path of transformation. How many people remember what I've said about Scorpio? It starts on the lowest level of its octave by stinging itself, as the scorpion does, through materiality. All right? As it begins to become enlightened, that energy rises like the Kundalini rises. And so the second octave of Scorpio is the viper or the snake, the serpent. As it begins to transform and know itself as a being of light, know itself as that which is perfection, it bursts into flame and rises out of that flame as the phoenix rising. We live in a Scorpio city. And those of you that are new to this place, we have this amazing energy that all we have to do is reach out and grab it and claim it for ourselves. Because it doesn't matter if you are a Scorpio, you're still living in a Scorpio city. And so you have this energy available to you. It's centered, by the way, on the corner of Trade and Tryon. That's the epicenter of Charlotte, North Carolina. So if you go and you're walking down the street and you stand in that energy just for a minute, and with intention, remember we've been talking about mindfulness here, and with the mindful intention of bringing that affirmation of I am powerful, I am love, I am light, I am power, and not only putting your own energy there, but bringing it up to you as well, because that energy center is there. And so as you are, as a being of light, are walking in our beautiful Queen City, you can help amp up that energy. Why do we fear who we are? What is fear? You know I love acronyms, right? What is FEAR? False evidence appearing real.
Forget everything and run. Forget everything and run.
That's right. Forget everything and run. No. Light workers, spiritual warriors, we stand in our power. Remember this stance I showed you? What is this stance called? The hero pose. Right? Is anyone practicing this? Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you standing in front of your mirror?
No. Yeah.
3 or 5 minutes a day going, yes, yes, yes. Miss B is, I know she is. The hero. Did anyone see Supergirl? That started out this week on Monday. Yes. What did she do? She stood like this with her glasses off. See, this is the idea of transformation. It's to remember who we are. We are the hero. We are the power. We are the change. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. No one's going to save you. It's been done. Scotty's not going to beam you up. We are doing this. And see, what you guys did yesterday is a perfect example of taking control of your reality. I loved it when some of you took those signs out to the road and with your hooks and pulled people in. That is what creating is about. Is taking responsibility. Not to say, I can't do it. No, that's not what a spiritual warrior does. A spiritual warrior says, I am powerful, I know what I want my reality to be, and I'm going to go out there and make it happen. And so, we manifested the road work yesterday, so they would stop right in front of this place. Yay! I mean, really, you think about it, they've never done that on a Saturday. That's never been there, right? And it rained on Friday, and it rained today, but it didn't rain yesterday. Powerful Jedi are we. See, this is what the road to transformation is about. It's about us being in our power. Being in that place where we know what reality we want to create, and so we reach out and we bring it to us. That's the only one that's going to change your reality. Don't wait for me to do it. I'm just going to tell you what worked for me. That's my truth. What's yours? What's yours? See, that's why this center is dedicated to what it's being dedicated to, which is the synthesis of all truth, which is the synthesis of all that's gone before us, so that we create a new A-N-E-W. Anew. We are constantly creating and recreating ourselves. Every breath creates. Every thought creates. Now, most of us that were here yesterday may have had the first thought this morning as they rolled over in bed going, oh, I don't really want to get out of bed.
I actually said, thank goodness
for the extra hour. I did too. I said, thank you, Jesus. It's an extra hour I can sit here. No, thank you, Jesus, because I got to go do my sermon. And I need that extra hour, right? It's amazing to me how if we start our day off mindfully, okay? Now, I am really, really working, and I invite you to do it with me. I am working on, in the first thing in the morning, first I gotta have the coffee. Gotta put the cats out in the garage where they think they're going outside. And then I am dedicating myself to centering myself and planning my day with my spirit. Whether you meditate, whether you make a list, whatever you do, be in the silence for 15 minutes at the beginning of your day. That way your day will be directed by who? Spirit. And who is spirit? Your higher self. Who is your higher self? It is you. But we need to raise that energy from the mundane to the magnificent. That is what the potentiality of your day is magnificent. so that whatever it is that you need to do to move yourself on the path of transformation will present itself to you. And it may sometimes seem like it's hurtful. That's an illusion. Right? It may seem like someone is disrespecting you. That's an illusion. It may seem like it's not what you want, and that's the biggest illusion of all. Because God does not give you anything that you don't need. In order to grow, you have to let go of those preconceived ideas of who you are, what you are to do, and how you are to do it. And let yourself go in the flow. Release, surrender, and listen. Be mindful. Surrendering is not that difficult, except for those of us that have control issues. Which is most of us. But what's underneath fear? What's the flip side of fear? Love. Faith, too. I'm looking for the other word. Faith. It is love. You're right. But I'm looking for faith. Today, we're looking for faith. If you have faith, it's the opposite side of fear. And I'll never forget this because when I was meditating in seminary, and some of you have heard this, and I apologize. We had lesson number 3, I think, or 5. It was one of the odd numbers in the early beginning. And we were to meditate on faith. But the lesson was on fear. I have dyslexia. I meditated for 30 days on fear. Remember this? I lost my boyfriend, lost my job, had to move home with my mother and father. I manifested all of my fears in one 30-day period.
Wow, you're powerful.
I am powerful, and so are you, and so are we all. Because whatever you focus on, you begin to magnetize to you. And my biggest fears, I was focusing on them 2 or 3 times a day. Because, you know, I was always the A student. We're supposed to meditate once. I had to meditate 3 times. You know, that ridiculousness that I do. But that was the biggest lesson I came away from those 6 years of seminary with. Is that what we focus on, we become. What are you focusing on right now? Think about that every morning. You know, really, people say, don't, just focus on one thing that when you're trying to do the manifesting thing. I do believe it's 3. That you can without dissipating it all. At least I hope so, because that's what I'm doing. But that is what we are so powerful with doing, is manifesting who we are meant to be despite ourselves. Now, if you don't get it right in this lifetime, don't worry, you got plenty more. You can do it. But I don't know about you, but I don't want to I don't want to do the same things over and over again. I want to get to my next Groundhog Day and know that I don't have to repeat some things again. Are you with me? Yes. Okay. So that first 15 minutes of your day, allow yourself to be quiet. I also know this. When I don't do that, and I just shoot out of bed and get going, I make a lot of mistakes in my communication. And I'm sure you know I'm our resident astrologer here. I have some challenges with communication in my chart. Can you believe what I do for a living? Now, why do you think the universe did that? Why did I come in with a chart where I'm going to be making my living, or what I do for my vocation has to do with communication, and yet I have a challenge in my chart? It's so, for me, this is the way I interpret it. She's going to tell me something different maybe on Tuesday. But this is the way I interpret it. So I can be mindful of my communication. So that I can not just be that Leo rising, the queen, but that I can be quiet and get to the truth of my words and my thoughts. Instead of being spiky the way I can be. And some people in this room know I can be spiky. And they love me anyway, I hope. But see, that's what it's about, guys. It's to love each other with all of our faults and foibles. And realize that we're on this journey together. And we are giving permission to have Spirit say, you're going down a little bit too crooked there. Let's straighten up. And it's going to give you something to straighten up and look at and pay attention. And if you're not doing it, it's going to do it a little bit more and a little bit more. For me, I had land straight on my back at one point. And in a wheelchair at one point. And then I had to break both feet at some point. So for a while I was going, well, maybe I need to go more right. And then when the right foot broke, well, maybe I need to go more left. And it's like, well, what's it about? Balance. I got readings yesterday from some of those great people that were here. 3 of them, actually. Every single reading had balance in it. Who, me? Nah. Do I need balance? Yeah, I need a day off. Because I don't take it. See, a lot of us type A's are really type B's inside. And if we're not honoring that type B, then we're going to, get things. All of the things I get is from the throat up. Throat infections, ear infections, sinus infections, right? Those upper chakras. Those are real important chakras to keep clear if you're going to be a spiritual leader somewhere. So I have this great body that manifests for me the areas of my spiritual life I need to balance out. Do you? Do you? Yeah, y'all do. You look at the chakra that you're having these issues with, and then you look at the emotions, you look at the spiritual stuff, and you start to work on it. But don't ever, ever judge yourself for it. Ever judge yourself for it. Because that is what is supposed to be happening. That is your perfection. If you weren't mindful about it, you're not mindful about it. It wouldn't matter. But you're mindful about it. And so we look and we talk about spiritual healing. And third Thursdays of the month we have our spiritual night with Jeff now. And we're going to have more spiritual healing and more ideas of how we balance our physical, emotional, mental with our spiritual. One more thing about letting go. When you are working on yourself spiritually, that energy comes from down high, or comes from up high, and begins to go down into your different bodies. Into the mental body, emotional body, etheric, physical. Wherever there's a block, that energy will give you some attention. And if it gets down to the physical, then you work it back up. Because, as above, so below, when something is happening up here at this level, you begin to work from here. And you go up the different levels of consciousness. We've been talking about that a little bit on Wednesday nights. So, in order to let go, you have to let go of fear. I am afraid of what? What are you afraid of? Just think for a moment. What is your biggest fear right now? Not in general, but right now, because this is all there is this moment in time. So what is your fear right now? Now, I want you to think about that. Because what we're going to do today is let go of that which no longer serves us. That fear does not serve you. You know, a lot of times when we do our meditation, we breathe in energy, breathe out what is no longer useful. Fear is never useful. Fear is never something that you want to be in. And so, as we work today on our spiritualness, remember that there are many components to fear. And the idea that fear is just emotional is not true. The idea that fear is just a thought is not true. It has all those dimensions to it. So when you're letting go of your fear, you have to let it go on all those levels. Now, you can also say to spirit, I now release and let go. Right? But I don't, for me, want any remnants to keep raising its head. So as we do affirmative prayer, and what is affirmative prayer? We've talked about. The idea that you affirm everything you already need, you already have. And you're in gratitude for having it. See, that is true faith. But do you do it? Or do you say, I release and I let go and I have this faith and I know that this is mine, and then the little voice keeps saying, no, don't have it. What do we do with that voice? No! We love it and thank it for the reminder that we need to love it and let it go. We don't tell it to shut up, honey, because it's going to keep talking if you... It's like a 2-year-old. It's going to keep talking if you tell it to be quiet. Right? We need to acknowledge it. We need to recognize that it's there and treat it like the child within. Honey, what do you need? Why do you think that? What can I give you to make you feel more secure?
Cake, candy.
Cake! Let there be cake! But see, that's what we have to remember. If we're acting as a soul-infused personality, if we're acting as the soul, we remember that those little voices are our child. It's the part of us that is still growing and still is throwing the tantrums. And we have to say, peace, be still, and know that I am God. You are part of me. What do you need, dear child? And act as the soul. Be the loving parent to yourself. I love you, George, because you always give me so much to work with. It is wonderful because that's what I love about how we have these times together. And even when the vision becomes 1,000 people on a Sunday, George, I still want you to sit up front. And I still want you to talk out. Because we have to remember that it's about us and the exchange that we have. And we should never be afraid, ever be afraid of speaking our truth. We all have truth and we all have something to teach, not just me. Each one of you is a powerful teacher. And that is what we're about. As we go into our congregational meeting, I want you to hold that in your heart, in your mind, in your soul. That it's not about me, it's not about you, it's about us. We're in this together, and we are not getting off this world alive. So we might as well do it together. And change the world. One heart, one mind, one soul, at a time, together, forever. Amen.